I'm kind of curious, what are you up to these days? I mean, we're both on Big Island, but is there that much going on that you're staying busy playing music full time, or what do you do?
Oh yeah, so there's not that much that we're doing on the Big Island, but because as you know, there's not many places to perform. Like if you go to Waikiki or something like that, it's just loaded with hotels. But over here, you have like a handful of hotels that you can pick from, and because there's so many musicians here, um, they kind of just took over that whole circuit. So, um, yeah, we've been busy traveling and performing outside of Hawaii and doing some gigs here and there in Hawaii. But um, aside from music, I've been really busy with my two sons. My first son is turning 2 next month, and my second son just turned 4 months. So I've been pretty busy with them.
Nice. So are you playing music full time, kind of?
No, so I play. I perform a lot, but then I also have a full-time job, just to provide health insurance and stuff for the two boys and for my wife as well.
Right, right, right. Of course.
Yeah. How about
Nice.
you? Are you
So,
performing? Are you
oh,
performing a lot?
nah, not too much. Maybe once a week at best, but it's
Oh,
enough
where do
to
you perform?
keep it interesting. A couple different farmers markets up here on the Hamakua coast, playing
Oh,
Waimea every once in a while at that farmers market, and then Hamakua Harvest down in Honoka'a, and then
yeah.
starting to get my kind of party band back together and play some more like up-tempo stuff. But we're just really getting our feet in the door, trying to
Oh, that's awesome.
make connections and yeah, just you know get that interest locally because we just want to be able to play at
Yeah,
graduation
yeah, yeah.
parties or whatever.
And I think the last time I saw you was probably 2019 at the Roysa Kumu Ukulele Festival, Waikoloa.
I think it was 2020. It was like the
Oh, was it
last thing
2020?
before COVID.
Oh,
Yeah. It was like the next week. It was like, well, that's it.
oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. We always cross paths just, trading the stage kind of on the
Yeah.
backstage there. But have you heard anything about that? Is that ever coming back?
So I was just in contact with them. They're gonna be bringing it back next March on a smaller scale. So it's gonna instead of having multiple stages at the Queen's Marketplace, I think it's just gonna be one under the pavilion, and then possibly one at the King shops.
Oh, cool. Well, nice to know that
Yeah,
it's not forever done.
yeah.
Are you teaching much? Do you do Zoom
Um,
stuff or is it
so we were
workshops?
teaching, but then it kind of died after while COVID was going on, and we I tried to pick it back up, but the ukulele shop that I used to teach at, which was Hilo Ukulele and Guitar, they closed down as well, kind of due to the pandemic. So that my main teaching spot disappeared, and we tried online for a while, but it's just not the same as being in person, and being able to be hands-on with your students. So as of now, I'm not really teaching that much, but looking to pick up back in the future.
Nice. You want to do that locally.
Yeah, definitely. Or if we're doing workshops on the road, I love doing those as well. It's just so much more fun when you're in person, and they get a whole better experience when you're right there able to teach them.
Right. Right. Yeah. Do you have any venues that you prefer as far as being in Hilo? I mean, what does the Hilo ukulele scene look like?
Right now, the ukulele scene in Hilo is kind of just events here and there. So we have one coming up, the Hilo Hawaiian Music Festival held at the Hilo Civic. That's always a great place to play. It's just a big area to host any concert or, and but basically that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much ukulele related things going on this side of the island, which is kind of why we tried to which is why we made the my ukulele contest to kind of just spark things in here in Hilo because I remember when we were um, growing up there were a lot more ukulele contests and a lot more like workshops and stuff being given around town and all of a sudden they kind of just disappeared. Like I remember Benny Chong, Byron Yasui and Brittany doing a workshop at the Nanilo Hotel.
Boy, that was a while back.
Um, yeah, a long time ago.
I
And then
remember
all of
that.
a sudden it just all disappeared. And I remember James Hill coming down to Hilo guitars and just had all these great things going on for the ukulele. So slowly trying to bring those things back for the new generation to enjoy.
Nice. And so do you see is there an interest in playing? There's just not learning opportunities, or is there just less interest?
Yeah, I think there's just a lack of opportunities for the kids to get out there. I mean, they have like the YKA intermediate ukulele band out here and stuff like that. But then aside from there, um, if the kids want to pursue and take their skills to the next level, and not just that, but just find places for them to perform as well, it's just not open for them at the moment. So I think because that happens, they kind of stray away from um, ukulele. And hey, maybe there's something else that I can pick up. So the goal is to just bring it back full swing over here, and actually just for the Big Island in general, and just have ukulele be just a big part of the community again.
That's it's a great place for it. We just yeah, connecting the dots is always the trick,
Yeah.
right? So you have your mom with you. Hi,
Yep.
Auntie. Um, how how did you get started, and what was kind of your mom's involvement with your musical journey? Because I know she plays with you all the time. Um, was there kind of a mentorship? Did you learn together? What's going on there?
Yeah, so when I was, I think like 7 or 8 years old, she was trying to train me on the piano, and she did this for my older brother and older sister too, and they kind of picked up on it. But for me, when she put me on the piano and was trying to teach me how to read music, it was just like, to me at the time was the most boring thing in the world, and it's the thing that I wanted to do the least. So after just a while of doing that, I just totally fell away with it. And I think that had a lot to do with why I resented music so much from age 8 to 13. I just didn't even want to hear it because being put in front of that piano and kind of being forced to do something that I didn't want to do, I just altogether I just didn't want to do hear music at all. And it wasn't until when I was 13 when I started to when I was home for the summer. So this was my mom is from Japan, and she goes home to visit her family every couple of years. And this was my turn to stay home with my dad. And so I was pretty much didn't have anything to do, totally bored. And I started digging through my toy box and found this beat up $8 Walmart ukulele, and that's kind of how we got into this whole ukulele thing.
Nice. And so what was your progression on the instrument? Did you start, I mean, where we all jump in at a different point and have different people we idolize and aspire to be at that
Yeah.
stage. Who was that for you, and what were you playing right off the bat?
Yeah, so when I took the ukulele out, I had zero experience, and so I remember my music teacher, because we had band class in like seventh grade, and I remember the music teacher talking about a guy named Jake Shimbukuro, and so I looked him up on the internet. And there was no YouTube at the time, so it was just pretty much on his official website. And for the first time in my life, I heard the ukulele being played in rock style, and I was just so drawn to it that I asked my dad to buy me his album. Sunday Morning at the time was the his only album out, and there's a song on there called Toastmaker's Revenge, and it's just a full out rock ukulele song. And I remember listening to it, and then picking up the ukulele, and I found that I was able to pick apart what he was doing. Without this being the first day I'm playing ukulele, I was able to pick apart what he was doing, and by the end of the day, I had kind of mastered that song just from listening to it. And I just remember my head just blowing up and thinking like, I'm the man. Like I've got to be the greatest ukulele player to live. There's nobody else doing this. And so yeah, that was kind of the beginning point of my ukulele. It was just a ton of pride for a lot of years and a lot of mud rubbed in my face.
And so what are some of the mud moments? I'm curious. We all have
So,
them.
so when I started playing, and then when my mom was in Japan, I would be every time I would master a song, I was mastering pretty much a song a day, and I would go on the phone at nighttime and play for her. And because she was so amazed by it, I was like, that's like giving me reassurance that yeah, I am the man, and this is like a legend is being born in this room right now because this God-given talent is just exploding. And so I took about a year to build up a massive arsenal of all these Jake Shimbukuro songs, and after that year, I told myself, I gotta start entering some ukulele contests because I gotta start just smashing some people. I gotta show them what this is all about. And so I entered my first ukulele contest. It was the Hilo JC's jumping flea ukulele contest at the county fair. And I remember just going back there thinking, man, I was just pinpointing each person. You're horrible. That song is gonna get you nowhere. You guys don't know what's about to hit you. And so I played just this crazy fast song, and I ended up losing that contest. And you'd think that losing a contest as a kid, you it would kind of humble them, but to me, I was like, I think this was rigged. There's no way possible that I could lose this contest. Did you see what I just played? And so I thought it was rigged. I dropped the contest for about another year, and again started building up the arsenal even bigger. And then when I was about 15 years old, there was another contest going on at the Lani House Center in Kona. Um, and I remember going there and just thinking the exact same thing, that you guys all don't have a chance. You don't know what's about to hit you today. And I went up there. I played Stars and Stripes Forever, which is another crazy fast song, Jake Shimbukuro version. And ended up tying for last place. I didn't even get last place to myself. I tied for last place with a 6-year-old girl that was dancing hula and singing and playing the ukulele. And so it's just stuff like that. And then after that contest finished, I told myself I'm never entering another ukulele contest because these things are just so rigged that it's just not fair to people that as great as me. And so then I went to high school, and they were offering ukulele classes there, and I remember going there, hearing the teacher play, and thinking, "Man, this guy is horrible. I can teach this class better than he can teach this class." And because of that, I stopped showing up to class. I stopped doing my homework. I stopped doing showing up for tests because it's just way too easy. And I ended up failing ukulele class and dropping from there because I didn't agree with my failing grade. And I went to band class thinking, this is where all the real musicians are at, not that ukulele stuff. This is where all the top dogs are at. And so I went there thinking that I was just gonna use my God-given gift to just wow everyone. And they slapped the music sheet in front of me, and I was just totally out of it. I didn't know what was going on. I ended up dropping the my band class and just signing up for weight training class because I just totally had given up with music in that high school era. But just things like that, and so many different things, so many other things down the road that just constantly kept rubbing mud in my face. But that's a message that we like to share with a lot of people. A lot of the performances that we do is just that those things are probably needed to shape you into the person that you should be in order to receive those blessings that you're searching for. And I believe that if all that mud wasn't rubbed in my face over and over and over for years and years, that I would just be a horrible person, not just a big-headed ukulele player, but just a horrible person in general.
Well, you seem to have you seem to look back on it and have a good sense of humor about it. Were there people along the way that kind of mentored you as far as, I don't know, the understanding of where you sit and the responsibility of the musician to like approach things and be humble and kind of fit into, I guess, the craft and the art of being a musician? How did you make that transition from being, big head ukulele player to where you're at now, where you can look back and laugh at it?
Well, I had a ukulele teacher. His name was Joe Marquand, and he used to teach at Hilo Ukulele and Guitar, Hilo Guitar, sorry. And but his was more so helping me transcribe Jake Shimbukuro songs that were too hard for me to listen on my own. And because I was so quiet growing up, nobody knew that I was thinking all these horrible things about everyone else. So although my attitude was this hot-headed, super prideful kid, if you actually just took a look at me, I just look like I'm thinking of nothing. And so I'm just sitting there, just judging everyone, but in actuality, they really couldn't tell. So I don't think I got any mentorship. I mean, from my mom, I was always being told to humble myself, because she's the only one of the only ones that knew what was going on in my head, and but I think the change that came was just from constant failures. Like I would so this is a story that I haven't told anyone actually. I don't think I've
Oh
ever
boy.
mentioned this in one of the interviews. But so I had gone to perform at the Reno Ukulele Festival. So this was the first time doing something kind of on the bigger side. This was 2009. And I remember going there because up until that point I was just performing at a coffee shop in Hilo called Kope Kope, and that's what I thought my music life was gonna be, was just performing at that coffee shop every week for 2 hours, um, and so we went to the Reno Ukulele Festival, and that was the first time that I ever felt like accepted by the audience, and just everybody was so in awe of what was going on, that we were playing, and it just struck with me again, like, man, I am the greatest. And I went home thinking, look, like I remember going back to my day job thinking, man, why am I with these people? It's like I was just the king back there, and then now I'm back here, and I'm just working in this warehouse with a bunch of these regular dudes. What am I doing here? And so I went on for about a week or two with that mindset, and then we had a gig 2 weeks later at the Mauna Kea visitor center, and I just remember thinking, man, I can't wait to show all these people what I got. And when we went there, there a ton of seats set up throughout the place, and there was only one person sitting down, and the other person that was there was the cashier. And I just remember thinking, okay, it's time to tone it down. And I've learned my lesson. It was just things like that, and I'm not kidding. Like it just happened over and over and over. I would have the ultimate highs, and then nobody would be showing up at any gigs. Especially like when I was playing at the coffee shop. Every time I'll do something on the bigger side, then I'll come back to Hilo and I'll perform at the coffee shop on that Thursday, and there'll be absolutely nobody there, and it just would bring me back to earth. So it was just that pattern over and over for years that kind of made me transition to, I'm probably not that great.
Well, on that note, you're all set up. Would you like to share a song?
Okay, so this first song is one that is just one of my favorites from the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Here is Pure Imagination.
Wow, that's very cool.
Thank you.
I that that's such an interesting song to choose to pull onto the ukulele. It's like that's very much not like Toastmaker's Revenge. What is your approach for creating that sound on the instrument? I mean, how do you go from like a movie score to that?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, obviously it wasn't originally played on ukulele, so what is your process for taking the melody and all the different orchestrated parts and
Oh, I see.
capturing them all on one instrument?
Yeah, so usually when I'm picking a song, it's usually a song that I've heard at work. And because I'm there for 8 or 9 hours a day, they have a ton of oldies playing all day long. For those of people that don't know, I work at KTA Superstores in Hilo in the warehouse. And so I'm listening to these different songs all day. And because I can't have my ukulele at the time that I'm working, while I'm listening to the song, as soon as I hear a song that I really have interest in, I'm already trying to pick apart, what part am I gonna be playing, and what string is the melody gonna be played on, and just breaking the song down so that by the time that I get home, um, because I have all these other things going on with my children, um, I have to really use my time wisely. So as soon as I get home, everything that I mapped out in my head, there's no time wasted. It's time to just get it all out there, jot it down, um, and make sure that everything that I was thinking is correct. So that's pretty much how I go about transcribing these different songs, and song choice is just all done in my mind first, and then
Wow.
practice comes. Practice is usually like half an hour to an hour of trying to make sure that everything is going correctly. And once I get this done, melody wise and whatever chording that I'm going to use, then the next day I'll bring it to my mom and let her listen to me play it. And then we start to figure out the arrangement for her parts there. So it's just a bunch of random, I guess, thoughts that are just going out throughout the day to put together this full arrangement.
So do you have perfect pitch? I mean, are you hearing the chord voicings as you're playing it in your head?
I don't think I have perfect pitch, but I can, if I just think of what the I guess what string sounds like what. So if I think of the A string, I can if I think of the A string alone, I cannot tell you that it's an A. But if I think of G, C, E, A, and I play those in order, then I can kind of pick apart, what key is this song really in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I took like my only real music theory class I ever took in college. The lady had us every class she would choose one person from the room to go out into the hall and she would bang a tuning fork for them and to reference and they would have to like think ahead of time, okay, what is my pitch? How close can I get to an A pitch? And you hold it
Yeah.
in your head and hold it in your head. And then you go out in the hall and you sing the note for her, and then she checks you with the tuning fork. And it was really, really interesting to hear how people did and how close you
Oh
could
wow.
even if you didn't have the perfect pitch, how close you could get to really just kind of knowing in your head what that is going to sound like.
Yeah, yeah,
And I've never done any of like of this. They used to have those CDs where you like train your ear, right?
yeah.
And listen, get perfect pitch in 10 days or whatever. But yeah, being able to hear that on the instrument is a whole nother trick. And it's amazing that you're doing so much of it before you even get to an instrument.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of like mathematical calculations, like as you were saying, even if you don't have perfect pitch. In my head, I'm just trying to like just figure out, okay, it's on the A string, the melody's on the A string, okay, what fret is it on? And you're just going down half step, half step, half step, trying to figure out what is the correct note, that the song that the key that the song is in. So for me, it's just a lot of math, a big mathematical procedure before even hitting the ukulele.
And so how much do you have to adjust when you get home and you pick it up? Are you usually pretty spot on or
I I usually get it pretty spot on. Sometimes maybe I'm a little flat, but then majority of the time it's just right there, and it's just getting home is just fine tuning everything.
wow, that's really cool. Nice. And so what kind of music are you playing these days? Are you still writing your own stuff? Have you released anything recently or?
Yeah, so we I do a lot of composing, but when I compose, it's more so like if something happens in my life or something in my past that I think it's funny, then I'll make a song about it. But that's just basically what we've been doing is making a lot of originals based off life stories, and but majority of the covers that we're coming up with is yeah based off of things that I hear at work. But more so we've been leaning towards covers because the ukulele audience is also when you're trying to come up with stuff to play at a performance, you always know that they kind of lean more towards things that are familiar. So we're trying to do oldies by bringing in some new stuff and then putting in specks of original music.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of cover tunes lately.
Okay. And so I guess that begs the question, who is in charge of the music at the KTA warehouse? Is that you?
Oh no. So they have a general station um that they play for all the KTA stores. So if you're hearing something in Waimea or Kona, it's playing also at
Oh,
Hilo.
really? Okay.
Yeah, so they just tune into this oldie station. I have no clue what radio station they're on.
Okay, okay. It just seems like that's out of all things that to hear that song in the warehouse is a very obscure thing because people are usually rocking out in those kind of gigs. It seems
Yeah,
like.
like in the warehouse, it's pretty grungy, and you have all these like muscle men, and then you hear Willy Wonka's coming on. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. So do you have any kind of travel teaching coming up, workshop, ukulele festival things?
So we nothing towards teaching, but we have so we're gonna be at the weekend. This weekend we're gonna be at the Nahoku Hano Hano Awards.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, the song that I wrote for my son, it's called "Always Be There." That got nominated for instrumental composition this year, so we're gonna be there, see how that does there. And then we just got a request to play at the. They're bringing the ukulele festival back on Oahu, because Roy Sakuma, I think he made it to the 50th anniversary, and then they called it quits there. So somebody else is trying to bring back an ukulele festival, summer ukulele festival. So we just got the call for that. So we'll be there in July. I'm guessing this probably their first annual ukulele festival. But we just have a bunch of stuff going on, and then in the midst of all that, we're trying to figure out where we're going to host this year's 11th annual ukulele contest. We're kind of looking, it might be at the Prince Hill Plaza like usual, but we're also looking at the Queens Marketplace as another option to hold this year's ukulele contest.
Awesome. 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 Have you done it since COVID or is this the first time?
Last year was a 10th, and
Oh,
that
okay.
was the first time we went back to the Prince Hill Plaza, but it's a little different. I mean, at that time, people were still kind of skeptical about being going out and about, but slowly, it's picking up. So hopefully this year we'll have a bigger turnout, and not just the audience, but the contestants. They were afraid to get up and go back out in public. So kind of struggled a little bit to get contestants like in numbers, but yeah, hopefully this year will pick up a little bit more.
Nice. And so you hold this. What for you as kind of being down the road of having been there, done that with some of this stuff, what do you try and encourage the youngsters to learn and to achieve by participating in the contest? What
So
do you envision for them?
for this contest, the reason why we started it wasn't for like the competitive nature of it. It's more so to give the all these ukulele players, young and old, just a chance to shine. And I know that there's like we were saying before, there's so many people that put so much time and effort into this instrument, and when they don't see any reward whatsoever or any form of compliment or anything, um, it starts like anything else. It just starts to get old, and they start to like think, you know what? Maybe I should just do something else. And we don't. Our mission was to do away with that and just every year give them something to look forward to, something where they can practice, 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 and shine at the end of the year. Whether you win or lose, to us it doesn't really matter. We just want you to gain that confidence in going on stage and just have something really positive to look forward to, and not just for the competitors, but just for the community as well. It's just something so lighthearted and fun to witness. And um, yeah, so when we go up there, we don't really stress like, oh man, you gotta have stage presence, and you gotta have this killer technique to win. It's just you go out there and you play your heart out, and win or lose, we're all still winning.
Right. Nice. Well, it's very cool that you do that. Do you have dates yet?
We usually hold the contest on the first Saturday of November. So we're looking at doing November 4th for this year.
November 4th. Cool. And where can folks find out about it as it comes together?
They on my social media, any it's Instagram, Facebook, any of that slash Kris Fuchigami. Um, but yeah, we this year possibly Queens or the Prince Hill Plaza, and the third option, because of the pandemic, we held the 2 years of the pandemic online, and we found that there was such a big interest in that worldwide, and so that's another option, um, just to give again all the ukulele players from around the world an opportunity, and everybody's so um, excited when something like that comes around, that they can showcase their talent. So, um, yeah, chrisfuchigami.com or any of my social medias will keep you updated there.
Nice. Very cool. Well, we got a little bit of time left. What is on the horizon for you? What's next? What are you working on?
Uh, so we are, so we're stuck in this. We're trying to record a full album, but we don't know what route to take after. So I've been talking about this with like Calais, Andrew Kitakis from Hawaii Music Supply, and just a bunch of the other ukulele players. And music is the music industry is just in this blind spot where you don't know after you release an album, the CD route is not there anymore. And we just got like a email from CD Baby and disc makers saying that they're not going to be printing out CDs anymore. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, we're trying to figure out like what is the next step for music. Like when people come to your performances, they want to buy a CD so that you can sign an autograph, or just something to listen to. But nowadays, nobody has a CD player. My car doesn't even have a CD player, and so they're doing away with it. And I also saw a post by Raya Home, and she's asking the audience, what should we do next? I mean, if you put it on Spotify or something like that, everybody has the music already, so what should you even bring to the gig? And we're talking about like um, a jump drive or something like that, but people don't want to buy a jump drive from you. So yeah, we're trying to do an album. We're doing our next album, working on the next album, but yeah, stuck in that in the midst of what to do with the album once it's done recording. You have any thoughts on that?
Oh gosh, that's like if you could come up with the answer for that, you'd win the whole industry, I think. No, I don't know. I've got 900 CDs under my bed, and it's just like,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
even
those
do
are
with
all
them?
collectibles now.
Yeah, not so much value though when there's 900 of them. Um, I don't know. I've often thought about that because there's like always the want to create the music and to create the album, and but there's not really, it's not so much a product anymore
Yeah.
because we all just give it away anyways, right? It's not going to get heard unless you just kind of give it away. So like what becomes the product? And
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can imagine it's super frustrating, especially if you're in the midst of really trying to put a project together.
And people are saying like, oh, vinyls do well, but even those, like, it's good to as something to bring home from somebody's concert, but then what will you do with it after that?
Right.
So yeah.
T-shirts, hats,
Yeah, that's where it's at now.
I guess. Maybe you can program the hat to play a song. So I was kind of letting all that process through and thinking about the question of, producing an album and not being able to really get CDs or sell CDs
Yeah.
anymore. it sure seems like more than ever the artist has become the product. And so along those lines, is it because going to a show used to be that you go to the show and that's great and you get your fee, but then on top of that, the bonus was you always have your merch and your CDs and you
Yeah,
sell the
yeah.
ice chest of CDs or whatever. It's, grew up listening to Uncle stories of Uncle George, selling a whole ice chest of CDs. That was the dream. and and without that, do you find with what you're doing that there is any kind of increase in the fee that you can charge to kind of compensate?
Oh, that's a hard one because we don't want to make for us we don't want to make it to a point where it's not affordable for the customer. And
Sure.
yeah, so I think that if we do run, actually we are going to run out of CDs, and when that point comes, it's just we'll just be performing, and we'll figure out something to for them to take home, because even if they're not buying it to listen to it, just something for them to take home to kind of show that I was there at this point in time. Um, it's just something that's special to the audience member. So once the CDs run out, yeah, we just gotta start thinking.
Hmm. Are you following James Hill's project with the UKEDS thing?
Oh no, what is that?
It's really interesting. He kind of jumped into that right when the NFT thing was really kind of banging.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
but then he moved away from it. But basically, he sold an NFT, but it was a ticket to participate in his newest album.
Oh
And so
wow.
people sent in recordings of themselves playing along with these parts that he kind of arranged and created parts for everybody to play as a group.
Mhm.
And then people submitted their recordings and they became part of the album. And so that was kind of like that was his way of crowdfunding it, but also creating a community around it. It's really interesting. I talked to him on the podcast about it a while back. But
Wow, that's
it's something
cool.
to look up because it's I don't know if it's working right the way that maybe we in an accessible way for all of us to jump on that same bandwagon, but it's so
Yeah.
outside of the box that it's interesting to kind of see how somebody on the fringe tried to do something that different. And
Yeah,
so
that's
basically
awesome.
he's got this group of people and everybody has a unique UKID that it's a piece of artwork that they own, but it also is like a ticket to special events and a way to be included in kind of the James Hill brand. But it's just
Because
something that comes to mind.
the NFT is just digital artwork, right? It's not physical. It's all digital.
Yeah, it's the non-fungible token, I think is my I got a
Yeah, yeah,
nerdy
yeah. That's
friend
what it is.
who's all into that. I don't really super get it. But it's mostly digital. Yeah. Once you have it, you're welcome to print it out however you want, put it on a
Oh, I
t-shirt.
see. But
Um,
that's cool though that James is always thinking out of the box, and he's just such a amazing person and crazy ukulele player. So yeah,
yeah,
James is awesome.
he's the brain on the front line for sure. He's
Yeah, yeah,
trying
definitely.
trying everything out. Um, but that might be something to look into just for inspiration for
Yeah, yeah,
something weird, different that might be interesting. Um, well, thanks so much for sitting down and joining me today. Do you want to leave us with one more song if you feel
yeah,
like sharing?
definitely. But yeah, thank you for having us. Is it was we had a little um when was it? 2 weeks ago?
Something like that.
Yeah, both of my sons got really sick, and one of them ended up we went to the hospital just to check out what was wrong with him
Oh
because
no.
he was kind of really suffering. But now we're here today and just having a lot of fun, just talking stories. And yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
But this not this this last song, or actually it's the second song, second but last song, is just one that really helped change the course of my entire career. And when I was a senior in high school, I was just thinking, you know, I was putting all my chips on I'm gonna be a rock star. I don't need to do any of this studying, any homework, nothing, because I'm banking on the fact that I'm gonna be a rock star as soon as I graduate. And as soon as I graduated, it didn't happen at all. I went straight to working the full-time job at the warehouse, and I just remember putting Gatorade on the shelf, this box of Gatorade, and just thinking, what happened? I was supposed to be this rock star, and now I'm putting these boxes on the shelf. What is totally different from what I thought, and and so a few weeks passed, and I was just waiting for somebody to contact me and tell me, we got this record label for you, and you're gonna be a mega star, and nothing happened. And so I took it upon myself, and my dad helped me as well, and we started going through the newspaper, looking for places to perform, and that's where we found the Kope Kope coffee shop. And so they're holding auditions for a 2-hour performance. Um, and so we auditioned for the part, and we got the part. And I just remember thinking, this is after weeks of having, actually, probably a month or 2 months of just having absolutely no performances. This is probably going to be the pinnacle of my career. And I'm going to be performing here at Kope Kope every Thursday for 2 hours for $40. And this is it. This is life. And after doing that for a few years, then a friend of mine, John Yamasato, reached out to us, and he asked, why don't you come down? What do you think about coming down and recording a video with High Sessions? And at the time, I was looking at the videos and just being so amazed at this totally high definition videos, and I thought to myself, it'll be good to have something like that I can show my family that I didn't fail, that I have this thing that is so high quality, and I did something. And so we started scheduling that, and also at the same time I was conversing with Andrew Kitakis at Hawaii Music Supply, and we had scheduled a video with them as well, because they just have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in cameras, and just make you look better than you actually look in person. but
Oh yes.
So we went there, did the High Sessions, did the Hawaii Music Supply, and recorded "Can't Take My Eyes Off You," Europa, and a bunch of originals. And to me, after we finished recording it and it was released, I was so amazed. I showed my family. I was so proud to show them that I didn't totally fail. I have this little work of art that I was working on, and showed it to them, and that was it. And I just thought, okay, we did that. Now go on with my warehouse career and my coffee shop career. And so I went there, and we just continued on with regular life. And after about a week of the video being out, I started getting these random emails saying, "Oh, we just saw your video, and it was amazing." And so I checked the video, and to my surprise, it was at like 10,000 views after the first week, and after the first month, it was at 50,000. It just started climbing 100,000 and into the millions. And because of these videos, it just totally changed the course of my entire career. And I started getting all these different emails and offers to fly us out to different ukulele festivals and different places to perform. And due to these videos, I was just able to travel the world and play music. And what I had thought was the pinnacle of my career, which was the coffee shop, was just the really slow start to my entire music career. And so really thankful to these to Europa and to "Can't Take My Eyes Off You," which "Can't Take My Eyes Off You" is the song that we're going to finish off with today. And like I was saying earlier, the message that I'd like to share with everybody is just to set a goal for yourself and go for it 100%. And like I was sharing, that all that ukulele contest that I lost and was so prideful about losing. I was so prideful about losing, and then failing in high school and a ton of things after that. But all those things, like we were saying earlier, is necessary to shape you into the person that you should be to receive the blessings that you desire. So that's my message to everyone, is just to never give up and just keep pushing forward, because if you put in the time and you just keep working hard, promise you that it's gonna happen for you. And so that's the message that we want to share with everyone. And yeah, thank you again for having us. And here is "Can't Take My Eyes Off You."
That's wonderful, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's super cool to have kind of been orbiting for all these years and get to see you kind of go from wherever we were. I didn't realize that. I guess now that I think about it, I kind of realized that you were at the Uncle Byron Yusui and Brittany and that workshop at
Oh,
the Nani Loa.
or were you there?
I was there. Yeah, I remember that. And I now that I'm thinking about it, it's like I'm pretty sure I remember you being there and you were like, the hotshot kid playing the Jake songs on the side. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah, because I had played. We went there and I played during the luncheon, so I wasn't part of any of the workshops going on, but I played at the luncheon, and yeah, I just remember it being so awesome to have these um, massive ukulele stars come to the Big Island and just share this their deep understanding of not just ukulele but music in general. And it was just so cool to have Benny Chong and Byron and Brittany there and just sharing this priceless information with all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was a big moment. And it was cool that it happened, in Hilo. There weren't a whole lot
Yeah.
of real high class workshops like that. It was super cool. Did you jam with any of those guys at the
uh,
event?
no, not at the event, but later on in life, I was able to play with well, Brittany. Obviously, I'll play with her a lot.
Sure.
But when it comes to Benny and Byron, it's like if they ask you to be a part of their jam session, I kind of like, oh yeah, 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 I'll play, and then I'll kind of just go off into the shadows because they're just at a different level. There's
Yeah.
just no keeping up with them. Like if somebody tells you, okay, key of A, and we're gonna play this song, it's like, okay, that's pretty simple. But then when they start playing, I just get totally lost, and it's just a whole different level.
Yeah, it's not probably not just like a Connie Kapila key of A. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, what is it, giant steps or something crazy. Yeah, very cool. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for jumping on, and thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you
Auntie,
for
for
having us.
hanging out and playing the
Uh,
accompaniment.
Thank you for having me out.
Cool. Well, keep me posted about the ukulele contest if I can help spread the word or whatever. Talk story about
Oh
that.
yeah,
Let you
definitely.
know once we get closer. And yeah, if you need a hand with that, I'd love to come check it out and see what you got going on.
Oh, one more thing before we go. I just want to mention that so we started this company called EBOOKS. I'm not sure if you heard of that yet, but
That's
we
on your
started a
website, yeah?
company. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we started a company called EBOOKS, and initially we started off with clothing, but the clothing was more so to get the name trademarked. Um, and so we started a company called Uke First. We have a Facebook, Instagram page, and it's basically the same, kind of the same thing as the ukulele contest, where the Facebook page and Instagram page is for people to post their content, or whether they want to post a video of them playing or pictures of the ukulele or just talk anything ukulele. It's just another avenue for people to go and just to showcase or talk about what they want to talk about. And again, like I was saying earlier, that practice, practice, practice kind of gets old after a while. So this is another avenue for people to just go on and just post something to and get total positive feedback from people that have the exact same interest as you. So just to all the listeners out there, just check out Uke first. We're and all the money that is used that is from that comes from the sales of the shirts and jackets or whatever merchandise that we have. It just goes straight back into the company and goes towards making events put on by Uke First in the future for the ukulele community. So check out the Uke First.
Very cool. Very cool.